Welcome to Base Space, a crypto podcast. Base Space.
Welcome to the Base Space. For those that don't know, this is a crypto podcast hosted by myself, the Crypto Mewtwo, Chase Coins, and Super High that creates opportunities for growth, networking, and education in the crypto industry. Today we have the honor of having Potter, co-founder of ethsign, on the show. Welcome to the space, Potter. We're pumped to have you on, brother.
Yo, thank you for having me, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, for sure, dude. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. We ran into each other at the Graph event and met up over there. Just curious, like, what were your thoughts about like the dinner and the event that we met up at?
Yeah, I think East Denver was a big event, and I think it was a Thursday or Friday. We went to the Graph dinner, which we met so many cool people and cool projects, cool influencers and builders, and like you guys, right? You guys are all tier one, and of course, shout out to Tegan, for having me to that dinner, and great opportunity, met a lot of people. But in general, I would say that East Denver is a great experience because I would say it's probably one of the biggest crypto gathering for a while now, especially after COVID, right? We literally spend a week discovering and immerse ourselves into this Web3 or crypto massive kind of conference or event where we basically every day there were new ideas, new projects, new interesting people that we met, we talked to, and we thought of. And it really also did shape ethsign's some of this narrative and use cases as outcome of this 7 days trip. And I do believe that I think conferences like East Denver, and how the Graph is hosting this whole dinner thing, it helps the industry to stay more connected with each other. It's because if we only communicate with each other on Twitter, Zoom, Discord, it can't compare with face-to-face meetings, right? And you especially you cannot. It's harder for you to grow a relationship or a bond between you and the other person. So definitely I recommend everyone else who's interested in Web3 space, in crypto space, do go to all these conferences. There are a bunch happening this year. The closest one I know is right, by the way, I'm based in Los Angeles, so there's NFT LA in LA, right? Starting from next week, so we are going to host some cool parties in the area. So feel free to check us out on our Twitter or Discord for our newest updates. And as well as there's Miami Bitcoin starting at April, and Bahama event, and ETH Dubai. There's a ton of stuff going on. So I do recommend whoever is interested in this space, participate. Please, participate on all those events. It's no longer virtual events, but you will make a lot of good friends, and bounce around different ideas, and spark probably the next big thing, right? That will be probably my feedbacks towards East Denver in general, and the dinner.
Yeah, man, I agree with everything that you said. Like that was like my first real crypto event, and it like really opened my eyes to going to more in person type of activations like that. I mean, it was just crazy to run into just some like random people that you always see on like CT,
I
right?
know, right? Exactly. I mean, seriously,
Yeah.
all these people that's on Twitter or on whatever, you can meet them in person. How cool is that? Seriously. And not to mention, the first kind of crypto gathering or crypto conference I went to is when I was still a sophomore in USC, University of Southern California, just in case you don't know. And I'm a proud Trojan. So during the second year, I co-founded Blockchain at USC in the freshman year with Albert Ho. He was a crypto OG, Ethereum ICO participant. One out of 1,000, right? And we helped to co-found the Blockchain at USC. And the second year is the first kind of big crypto conference that we went to, is in SF. It's called SF Blockchain Week. I don't know if has any of you went, but in that event, it was like really really cool. You got to see Vitalik, Justin Sun, all the big KOLs and influencers in person, right? And you had a chance to talk to them. You had a chance to talk to other big funds, big protocols, big projects, and big founders as well. So I always had a good experience attending conference. Probably it's also because I'm an extrovert, so I love to talk to people and connect with people. Maybe that's also the other reason.
Yeah, for sure. Not to go on like a huge tangent about these conferences, but I think like for me, the biggest takeaway out of the conference was just like the amount of positivity that was at the conference versus like crypto Twitter. Uh, like especially during that time period is pretty negative, like across like my general like feed, just like everyone being down. And like you go to the conference and even people that were tweeting like negative vibes, like you go there and they're just super happy and chill and everyone's so pumped
Yo,
up and it
that's
was
so
really
true.
cool. Yeah, it was really cool to just see everyone like collaborating, building their projects. It was dope.
It was like collective. I mean, like Twitter space like this is definitely the go-to. I do recommend more people are hosting AMAs and live panels like this. It's like a good way for because crypto, as I said, is a global market, right? It's not just the two superpowers in the world trying to fight over some technology breakthrough, whatever. But I would say crypto is for global audience and global population. So that's why I do believe live AMAs or live kind of Twitter space would be really helpful for us to spread the knowledge and to spread the love, to spread what we think to the rest of the world. So do appreciate what you guys are doing, and that's a good complementary with each other, right?
Yeah, 100%. Potter, everyone who comes on these spaces, we always like to ask like how they got into crypto. Would love to just like hear your story and how you got started.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. So I went. So by the way, I'm only 23 right now. I dropped out of USC. If you guys don't know, feel free to follow my Twitter and see the pin tweet. I basically write out my kind of experience with ethsign and myself, but you don't have to, as I said. So my crypto story is I got into crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum when I was I think 17 or 18, around junior high school. And I was first, doing a bit research, but it was at the point where in 2017, where everyone is crazy about ICO, and all my friends say, "Oh, Potter, I just made 5x my money by trading Bitcoin last month." Moments like this say, "Oh, you gotta check this out." You don't, you gotta at least, buy some Bitcoin or Ethereum if that's that easy to make money, right? So I literally calculated my life savings, or how much I need to sustain my basic life, including rent and food and stuff, and tuition, of course. I put the rest of my money into Bitcoin back at 2017. So I remember the price of Bitcoin was 19K, and I was super happy that got into this early. And I used Coinbase back then, and basically the second day or the third day, the price dropped from 19K to 12K. So literally lost half of my life saving, even though it's not a lot. But for international students in US. By the way, I was in DC at the time, DMV, shout out to. So it was it was a huge loss, right? Not to mention in a week the price dropped to 6K. So basically I lost 2/3 of my life savings. So it's not a good experience to start with. However, even though losing almost 70% of my assets, it did not just get me quit. What doesn't kill me make me stronger, right? I started to learn to self-learn, because second semester senior, you basically graduate from you basically graduate from high school. You got into college, you're pretty chill, you have a lot of free time. I started to do my own research on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and starting to learn why it is so speculative and everyone's talking about it and the price is so volatile, and understand the real kind of technology behind it. So that was all I did in second semester senior high school. After I got into USC, I found a group of people that was also very passionate about crypto, Web3, blockchain. So it's majorly me and the other guy called Albert Ho. He is kind of like my mentor back in the days in freshman. He was already graduating at USC, and he was the ICO participant, as I said. When I was a freshman, he's already like a millionaire, right? He also shared the vision to build this, university blockchain organization. So basically, what we did is we set up the whole club structure in 2017, 2018, and it got really run through during my sophomore year and my junior year, and I became the president. I basically run the whole club during the sophomore year and junior year. And as you guys all know, back in the days, it was bear market, right? So everyone who, when we launch our events, when we host events, people always ask us, what is Bitcoin? Is it a scam? What is crypto? Will it go to zero? Stupid question like this. So as I said, conviction is a key. We are really glad that, we made it through. So after a while, right now we start with probably 3 to 5 people, but now we grow this club as big to 500. Shout out to the current co-presidents, Mike and also Jeffrey. By the way, Mike is also working in ethsign as community lead. Yeah. So that's basically the story. I got into crypto. I got into Web3. Yeah.
Yo, that's super dope. It's crazy that you did all that after like losing like 70% of your money.
Yeah. I
You
mean,
kept pushing
seriously,
through,
all
bro.
my friends, they lost their money, or they win the money, and they gain a lot of money, or either they lost a lot of money, right? But for all the people that lost the money, I never see one that kept buying crypto or kept pursuing the space. I think I'm the only one among my friends. So after they lost 50%, they said, even after they lost 30%, they said, no, I gotta get out. But yeah, I think I'm just built with a different
Persistence.
mindset. Yeah, perseverance and conviction is a key.
Yeah. That's super dope. And like, how did you even come up with the concept for ethsign? Like, what led you down this rabbit hole?
Yeah, for sure. So continue my story is also relevant. During my freshman year, I interned at a crypto fund called Fundamental Labs. It's one of the biggest crypto fund in China. And it was I think I'm one of the early interns as well. They were the early backer of Polkadot, and as well as other really good projects. And they're one of the very few crypto fund that invested into Coinbase at the early stage. I think it's around 8 billion valuation, something like this, or 800. I can't remember the details, but they're pretty legit. So I met during the internship. I was basically helping the fund to source deal, to do due diligence, and to do all that kind of stuff. During the time, and not just I, grow more kind of professionalism with Web3 crypto in general. I also met one of my co-founders of eSign, whose name is Yanxing. Yanxing, he was the first employee of the fund, Fundamental Labs, and then later on he went to Huobi Strategic Investment Fund as like a like a secondary director, whatever. Anyways, long story short, during the internship, I met Xing, and we spent the whole summer talking about the future of Web3, decentralized storage, NFT, metaverse, DeFi, etc., etc. And we started to bounce different ideas. And he said, "Oh, I still clearly remember this day at the end of the last day of the internship. Xing asked me, 'Yo, bro, you wanna build a project with me?' I said, 'Yo, for sure. What to do, right?' He said, 'We need to build this, DeFi protocol on Polkadot.' I was like, 'For real, sir?' seriously? He said, yeah, I'm pretty bullish on this. But we did not take this route. Thanks for for him proposing the idea of building a startup. So this kind of doing a project idea started to plant it in my brain. And after I got back to USC, I started to look for good engineers, because at that time, blockchain at USC, we incubated 4 to 5 projects each year, and we had around 20 to 30 devs. They all participated in this program called Dev Nights, right? So I looked through all the devs under blockchain USC, and I found this specific person that's extremely smart and know all everything and master solidity and smart contract, front end, etc., etc. So we pitched him about different ideas, and at the end, I think we just came up with the building the decentralized e-signature platform. The reason is pretty simple. So basically, it's the kind of the founding story of eSign is me, Xing, and Jack. Jack, as soon as we onboard Jack, the basic team was formed. So it's just me, Xing, and Jack. And Jack was in charge of the technical side. I'm in charge of the BD marketing, go to market, and fundraising. Xing is basically the project lead, so basically in charge of the architecture design, project design, as well as fundraising as well. So we had a very clear role on each of us, and we start to recruit more teams from blockchain at USC as well as other universities. We actually the first year we self-funded ourselves, because we don't have any capital in our treasury. And the reason we did eSign as opposed to other ideas is because we do believe that during the past couple years, Web3 has been growing its infrastructure level in a pretty relatively matured fashion, where compared to 5 years ago, for example, we are not be able to use a decentralized application that has good user experience. The reason is pretty simple. For example, there are a couple of reasons that cause this. I mean, Ethereum, as we all know, is very expensive and also very slow. And if you want to query data or do indexing, you need to do RPC indexing, which costs you 3 to 5 minutes to do so, as opposed we have the graph, right? And also we don't have a very mature DID kind of infrastructure. Where only MetaMask was the only one, but right now we have Wallet Connect, Taurus, which we just rebranded to Web3 Auth, and we also have Formatic that has created very mature kind of DID solutions, etc. And with, of course, our Biconomy, we are able to use Biconomy to cover the gas fee for our users. So just to be more concise and to aggregate all what I just said to add to my point is we do believe that the Web3 infrastructure is getting more matured, and the next phase of Web3 is going to be building the on-chain application that utilize all the matured Web3 tech stack to build a user-friendly web decentralized application that has utility, right? The reason we do not want to build a decentralized Facebook or social network is because we do believe that building a social network requires a strong network effect. So basically, it's harder for us to go to market and to grab the cake from Facebook, Meta, as well as others. But building a decentralized tool specific application like e-signature, it'll be much easier to onboard people, is because people don't care if their friends or their family is using this product, as long as herself or the opposing opponent or sort of third party is using this platform. As long as it works, you will adopt this. So we do believe that the adoption curve will be much easier than if we build a Web3 Facebook. That was kind of the initial thoughts. But of course, right now, if you ask me what is eSign, I would definitely not say it's a Web3 DocuSign, because there's a lot more, right? I mean, a Web3 DocuSign doesn't worth the investment from 3 Sequoias, if that makes sense.
Yeah, part of that was a really good in-depth explanation, and it was really great meeting you at the dinner as well. So we definitely appreciate you coming on the show as well. Just to jump in, to some of the use
Yeah.
cases.
So far, any questions or anything you guys want me to share more about ethsign or
Yeah,
roadmap or tech stack or just in general? I would love to answer.
yeah. Just to go in on some of the use cases, right? So for someone that's maybe new to crypto or starting a business or a project and needs a secure contract signing platform, could you explain why eSign is the way
And
to go?
sorry to mention Chainlink. Chainlink is also one of our biggest ecosystem tech supporter. We utilize Chainlink's Keeper network in our smart agreement functionalities to monitor a on-chain or off-chain API. But I can talk more about this. But basically, anything you guys wanted to learn more about eSign, I'm happy to share. Or not just about eSign, about Web3, about DAO, about metaverse, anything. I would love to share more. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I think Super was asking you about like if you're like new to crypto and like starting a business, right, or project, and you need like a secure contract platform. Could you like explain why like eSign is like the way to go versus like a traditional signing platform like DocuSign?
Yeah, of course. So, as I said, right now, if you would ask me what is eSign, I would definitely, the answer is definitely not Web3 DocuSign, right? And just like, I don't know if you guys have read, Yugal's recent deck. They also write this, we are not just JPEG, we're building more, right? So what is more? I will probably go deeper in a bit. So before I, go down into that rabbit hole, I would just love to share my thoughts on why we need a decentralized electronic signing platform. Okay, so as we all know that the whole basically why we build a Web3 version of DocuSign or HoloSign, you name it, is because we want to embrace the Web3 technology or decentralized technology to build a more secure, private, and transparent kind of signing solution versus DocuSign, or not to target on DocuSign, but in general all the e-signature platform, Web2 e-signature platform. The reason or the some of the inspiration actually comes from a documentary I watched several months ago called Social Dilemma. In that documentary by Netflix, basically it talks about how drastic or how it's detrimental to have all the Web2 giants like Facebook, Amazon, Google to own the user's data, right? I mean, Facebook's literally got into trouble with this. And why is this possible? And also, if you guys have watched, Silicon Valley, which is I think it's a TV series by HBO. In the show, basically they talk about the story on a group of brilliant young men trying to build this decentralized network because they think centralized Web2 is very centralized, and I'll probably explain a bit later, but this is a big context, right? And why is it centralized and why is centralized bad is the main question or the main reason that I want to share. Is because if it's centralized and basically all the big giant have all the information and privacy about this specific person, right? His address, his user behavior, everything. Everyone will become, we will have literally no privacy, and they can literally sell our data for any reason that they want, even though they claim they're going to use it for good, right? And let's talk about why is it needed in e-signature platform. It's because in e-signature platform we need that all the contract that people sign it should be very private, right? And how the DocuSign is doing this is, they basically, or the other e-signature platform, they basically store all the contract in a centralized server or a cloud, right? Basically controlled by the company, and and also all the user data information they use DocuSign to log in DocuSign. They need to store every user's username and password in DocuSign server. So basically, they have the access to all the users' data and all the contracts signed. Even though, of course, DocuSign as well as other, e-signature platform will say we are not going to intrude any of the user data, but that's what they always do. To have a decentralized tech stack, we are able to solve these kind of issues by allowing users to log in with their DID, so AKA MetaMask other wallet. So based by the private key kind of public key kind of combination or this technology, we don't have any of the users' information or have access to their money, right? That's the whole point of Web3. Everyone controls their money, their data, their privacy, etc., yada yada yada, right? And the second phase is, when you sign a contract on DocuSign, if you want to verify when this contract is signed, for example, you have a dispute and you want to take this to the court, you would ask DocuSign, oh, please share, the timestamp or whatever certification you can give me. And probably DocuSign doesn't have this similar issue, but my friend and family actually experienced this centralized issue in China. Is basically there's a similar company called, I will not disclose the name, but they are basically a Chinese DocuSign, and they're worth a lot, like at least billions, right? And the problem with them they have is one of my friends signed a e-signature contract on that platform, and he want to verify like when it was assigned and if it has been executed. And the company said, oh, we need to take 3 weeks to get back to you on this. And after 3 weeks, they basically just had a stamp on whatever certification they have and said, yo, this is the history, or this is a transaction. You will take this to the court, and the court will verify this. But think about this: what if we can store all the transaction on Ethereum and other EVM compatible blockchains? So whenever the contract is executed or being signed by every party, it will have a clear kind of on-chain history, where we don't need to ask us to give you this certification to verify when it's signed and the timestamp, etc. Everyone will be able to verify this on blockchain. Isn't that super helpful, right? And that's only the second part. I will get to the third part. The third part would be the centralized server issue, where all the Web2 companies use AWS, Ali Cloud, or the other cloud service or service to manage or to store the data. But in Web3 we have Arweave, IPFS, Crust, not I think no, not Crust. Which the Saya, right, and rest of others. A lot of decentralized storage solution, and we are very close to Arweave, and we're going to use Arweave as our default solution. Basically, what we're going to do is we encrypt the contract and decentralizedly stored in Arweave. So basically, you pay once and it's permanently stored, and only the related party can have the access to the contract, not even the platform. And the most amazing stuff about this is even if the ethsign, we stop operating our service, all the contract that was being signed, everything will be access to the users. We will not be like if a company go bankrupt, all the data that was stored in the centralized server will inevitably get deleted. But if you sign a contract on ethsign, it can be verified till the world ends, probably in a trillion years, whatever. So everything I just described is a Web3 version of DocuSign, which is our stage one. We call this platform, we call this product eSign Signature. So you can think of this eSign Signature as a Web3 version of DocuSign, where you can use your on-chain identity, you can use your ENS, as well as other like unstoppable domain, other identity you have in Web3, and to sign a contract in a decentralized fashion. And only you will have the access, and you and the related party have the access to this contract. And we as a platform, we only provide the service, but we are not having access to anything, and we do not charge extra money than just paying the gas. And a lot of times we also cover the gas fee. So come on, guys, switch to us. Stop using vanilla DocuSign.
Yeah, no, that was a really great explanation of.
By the way, our current platform is shut down, is because we are focusing on getting our next iteration out, which will be launched within 2 months. So stay tuned.
It's great hearing that, Potter. On your docs page, when I see a DAO integration, I think of holding DAOs responsible for some of the things that they say that they'll execute on in their roadmaps via the ethsign contracts. Was this the thought behind DAO integrations, or if you could speak more on that, or where you think this will head?
Any other things you guys want to know?
He probably can't hear me.
Oh, Potter, can you not hear Super?
Oh, I cannot hear Super at all. Like,
Oh, that's what it was, dude.
Okay.
wait,
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
wondering
yeah.
because there's
wait,
been
is
kind of
Super
some overlap.
like, because like for the last time, there's like an awkward pause, right?
Yeah.
I don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Maybe Super, maybe restart
Yeah.
your
Yo.
app
We can't hear you,
recording.
bro.
Yeah, that's actually
Yo, I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I
No.
thought
No.
I thought there was an intentional pause or for our community to ask questions.
Super, go ahead and reset your app. I'll cover that question for you. But
Yeah.
Potter, what Super was asking, he said when he hears DAO integrations, he thinks about holding those DAOs responsible for what they're saying they'll actually execute
Mm-hmm.
via the ethsign contract. So he's asking, was that kind of the thought behind the DAO integrations? And if it wasn't, could you just kind of speak on that a little bit more, or where you think it would lead in the future?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I will just get to this. So basically, our DAO is one of the major focus in eScience roadmap, right? Because somehow we're bridging the Web 2 to Web 3 world, where, for example, if a DAO want to, a lot of time DAO doesn't have a like legal entity or whatnot. So how do you make sure that it's this DAO or this treasury or this core member from the DAO sign this contract? It can be verified if this private key owned by DAO treasury managed private key holders, if that makes sense. So that would be kind of like on-chain identity to verify the DAO's kind of to sign this contract. So the reason is we had a investor. He was going to sign a market making kind of deal with one of the DAO, but the DAO said, "Oh, we don't have a legal entity. How can we sign this contract?" And they used eSign to sign it because this private key was directly from the DAO, if that makes sense. So that was the first. And as I said, eSign is definitely not just Web3 DocuSign. It's 100 times more. And I'm going to share a bit about our roadmap, and it definitely in line with our roadmap with DAOs. So basically, the next phase of eSign. I don't know if have you guys heard about the term smart agreement. So or AKA eSign smart agreement. So eSign smart agreement, aka ESA, is a technology that we built out. Thanks to our tremendous tech lead. Oh, yeah. Also, FYI, our CTO is teaching a Solidity course in USC under the blockchain minor. It's a 4-credit course, and he was one of the youngest professor in USC. So and his course is open source. Everyone can take this class online. So just doing some small promotion for my CTO, and that's it. All right. Thanks to our tremendous tech team and our tremendous team, we came up with eSign Smart Agreement. So basically, what this is we are trying to make document on chain, not just signed electronically, but it can also be self-executed. And so basically, we are going to the two basic features will be smart or ultimate execution, and also escrow of funds or transfer of funds. So basically, how it works is there will be three. There will be three major matrix that you need to define into building a smart agreement. The first part is, you need to define a data source. A data source can either be on-chain or off-chain. On-chain, it could be TVL, it could be, token price, it could be anything. Off-chain, it could be time, it could be, a user data number or, whatever, right? So basically, thank you, Chainlink keepers, we are able to monitor like any on-chain or off-chain data set or data API. And we are also there's other solution providers like Gelato, KP3R, Also, shout out to them. And with this, we're able to, as I said, define a data source you need to monitor. The second step is you need to define a trigger condition. By trigger condition, I mean, for example, it could be triggered by time, it could trigger by the top price, but basically, what is the trigger data that you are aiming to get to match the expected value? So, for example, we can say we are going to monitor or whatever a data, and if the data reach this expected value, then the smart contract will be executed. Then it comes to the third part, which is a smart contract. A smart contract execution. You guys know Ethereum is not only a powerful execution platform, it's also a powerful financial platform, right? So or system infrastructure. So basically, we are able to move funds on blockchain very safe and very privately. So basically, that was the the major matrix you're able to do to define, and the use cases we are thinking or having of is I will dig a little deep on this because it's kind of my sweet spot. So basically, the first one it would be a on-chain kind of KPI-based investment. As you guys, I don't know if you guys know, the recent kind of Do Kwon and Ape Gods, Ape Gods, no, altcoin gods said, they had like a big argument about if Terra price will drop below $88 per Terra, then they will each other, I think it's 50 million USD or 10 million. I forgot the exact number, but they were basically having this kind of big bet on Twitter, right? And their one question is they were asking for a good escrow service. And I think it was Chase or some other big influencer. He said, "Oh, we are looking for a good escrow service. Please provide some." Right? And I would say, "Yo, this is instant great ethsign smart agreement use case. Basically, you define the trigger condition, the data source, and execution logic, and it's a decentralized escrow. So no one except for the party will have access to this. We will have this all audited, by the way. So we do concern a lot on the security side. So don't worry about the security and all that kind of stuff. It will be a decentralized escrow. It'll be easy to define. It will be a on-chain paperless kind of collaboration between multiple parties without signing PDF contract, right? So that would be a cool use case. And the other biggest use case that we are thinking of is actually very related to DAO. I don't know if you. So basically, to long story short, it will be a powerful toolkit to execute DAO voting outcome. Right. So basically, after DAO voted on snapshot, then there was an outcome. It will execute it instantly with our smart agreement. So to be more specific or to be more in detailed, for example, it will be a couple months ago. Sushi Swap DAO, they were trying to reward their liquidity provider with Sushi token, right? And they basically say, "Oh, people, please vote in the form on all the liquidity providers. Please vote on what you guys want the vesting period be. Is it 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months? You guys would be the deciders." So of course, the community and the liquidity provider, choose or to voted the shortest vesting period. However, here comes the twisting point: is a day later or a couple days later, Sushi official they announced a new article or a new kind of blog saying that the outcome is the shortest. However, after good consideration with the founders of Sushi, we started to realize that if we make it 6 months or whatever the shortest vesting period is, it will be pump and dump. It will be not healthy to the Sushi community. So we decided to move the vesting to 12 months or 24 months. Even though the vote outcome is 6 months or whatever that is. Then interesting comments coming up. People be starting to comment in, "Oh, if this could be coded in a smart contract, it would be, it'll be great." And what you guys are doing is totally bullshit. This is fucking sorry to this is freaking centralized, right? I mean, That is true. I mean, the whole point of being a decentralized autonomous organization, you are not decentralized. You seems to be decentralized by voting on one whatever, and you're not autonomous. Because still there's a group of people organizing, basically in charge of doing whatever with a token, and also you're not automated. When the vote is when the vote is coming out, when the outcome is there, the team doesn't execute it. They decided to change the rules. That's unacceptable, right? So another big use case that ethsign is going to do is it will become the execution layer of the DAO voting outcome. So for example, if SushiSwap, under with this same forum, with a eSign smart agreement, for example, it will be it will be Sushi token drop to all the liquidity providers, right? In what price and what's the vesting period, and is it has a cliff or whatnot? Every vote it will come with a specific eSign smart agreement. And when the vote is outcome, we make sure that it's executed, because code is law, because smart agreement, smart contract, which is built on top of smart contract, is immutable. It will be executed. And it will be more automated and more decentralized, and really make the point that making this whole thing decentralized have a point is because if the community, if the community, if the DAO holders, if the liquidity provider, if the contributors, the supporters, they decided one thing, but it was not executed, what is the whole point? It's still a company. So yeah, that was the second biggest roadmap that we're going to do with DAOs and stuff. And the third part that we have a lot of synergies with DAOs is, oh, by the way, as you guys all know, we are also backed by Miranda Ventures. They are the venture partner of BitDAO, one of the, I think, the biggest investment DAO in the world, with 3 billion in the treasury. So the third part that we're going to do is we're going to build a sub product leveraging eSign's signature, aka Web3 DocuSign, plus eSign smart agreement. We are going to build this amazing, or exciting, not amazing yet, exciting product. We call it token table. So the whole concept of token table is actually inspired by last year, where we have a conversation with one of our investors, and also Balaji's mirror token article. And he also Balaji also invested in eSign as an angel, and we will definitely consult him down the road about this token table project. So essentially what token table is, it will be a one-stop shop, automated one-stop shop for fundraising and investing platform. It will help investors, including crypto funds, VCs, angels, investment DAOs, Web3, anyone in Web3, to invest into projects like majorly Web3 projects. We're not going to target any equity stuff. So basically, this token table project, it will be first of all, it will be legally binding, where we already have a strong legal team backing us on this. I cannot disclose who they are, but they're the top tier, and basically everyone will be able to manage their investment on chain, right? Instead of using multiple platforms like DocuSign, like Carta, like Angelus, like Zelle, to manage Web3 investment, because as you guys all know, Web3 investment is still a very kind of undeveloped, developing kind of area or industry, where there's no default rules, or there's no correct way to do it. Everyone do it their own way. So instead of using multiple platforms into that of a hassleness, we basically allow users to, or different parties to, sign legally binding contract, transfer fund. So no more back and forth test token, right? If you guys know what I'm talking about. And no more like a when token, right? Because it will also be generated mirror token, which will be one-to-one mirror the token that you're going to get, or the native token that the platform is going to launch. So also help them with vesting. So instead of typing in different investors' addresses every month. You can just founders can just put all the money into this pool and allow investors to claim it, and with a vesting schedule, of course, right? Either a cliff vest, linear vesting, yada yada yada, anything smart contractable. So basically, this platform allows investors to sign and wire and manage their cap table. So we call it token table. So the future of token table is we're going to target all the to B to investment DAO, blah blah whatever, to form this. We'll also be having a similar product that we're going to target the crypto community to do similar stuff like investment club. So yeah. Hopefully that answers your question. Yeah.
Yeah, Potter, thanks for going into all that. I actually had a question. You had talked about how you guys could basically enforce DAO votes. So I'm curious, what were the mechanics that you guys have that could say, like, a DAO vote is focusing on changing the protocol code? Like, how would the code actually change, and how that actually work for you guys?
Yeah, that's a good question. So we are not going to allow all the voting to outcome to be executable. That's not possible, right? Because there's a lot of voting is more kind of subjective or or more vague, if that makes sense. However, votings like vesting schedules, voting like a draw like volume of the token, what all that stuff that can be quantifiable, can be more objective, we are able to to execute those, if that makes sense. So it's not like we can execute any contract. No, we can execute the voting outcome when it's very specific, and it can be smart contractable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I got you. So it's more kind of for treasury management oriented in a way.
Exactly.
Where it's like a little bit more like
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why we partner with the biggest treasury management DAO in the world, right? BitDAO, as well as other very big investment DAO. Like we're still in touch with them, but nothing fruitful outcome yet. But I will probably disclose those in the future. But yeah, we are in touch with some other big investment DAOs like the Lao, Metacartel, GCR, you name it. But but nothing official yet. But yeah.
Yeah, and you had actually also touched about these contracts being legally compliant. Could you kind of talk about the process for being legally compliant in multiple jurisdictions? I think on your website, you guys are compliant in more than a dozen different jurisdictions. So could you kind of dive into that?
Yeah, of course. So definitely, if you guys to look for more detail, I can. It's all in our Medium. So ethsign's official Medium. There will be one article to walk through everything about the legally binding stuff and the jurisdiction stuff. So I'm just going to summarize those and into few words. So basically, the world is right now has regarding e-signature laws. I believe there's probably a few, but the major ones are tiered model or tech neutral countries, right? For tech neutral countries like US, Canada, as well as others, they don't care like how you sign contract, either it's through blockchain or through internet, whatever, as long as you fulfill the four basic requirements. So what is the four basic requirements? I can't remember the specific, but I believe there's like signer's intention, logical association, blah blah blah. So there's four. You guys can read more details in the article. And therefore for tiered model for neutral tech neutral countries, when we design the product, we have to let users to sign term of use, privacy policy, etc. However, we do not collect any of the user data, and also during the design of the product, we make sure that we fulfill that the all the requirements, and we do have an what is it called in English, like examples or whatever. So basically, a lot of legal top legal firms are all back this like endorse this in the public way. I can't share more material information now, but it will be launched in around two months. So guys, stay tuned. So basically, basically to answer your question, we are legally binding because we fulfill all the basic requirements, and we have all the if people do not have time to read all the technical stuff or the more detailed stuff, because I do assume most users they don't care, they don't want to spend 10 minutes reading why we are legally binding, right? They only want to see who we partner with, and who are the legal firms are, endorsing us, or backing us, which I believe that have more kind of confident, not like more like background, or rooting it, have more um yeah, have more credibility. Yes, credibility, that's the word I want trying to use. So we are so for users, we're not going to educate why, I'm going to spend 30 minutes with you, how we educate the users why we are legally binding. However, we are going to have all the lawyers, a lot of the top law firms to back us, to basically create this templates, or how to make this legally binding, if that makes answer your questions. And we do believe that in the future, when there's basically how DocuSign is legally binding is they bind their email with their identity, right? So email is their Web2 identity. That's why you don't need to do KYC if you use DocuSign. If you guys don't know, there's no KYC process. You only need to bind your email. So in this scenario, in the future, when there's more Web3 use cases, more Web3 adoption, more Web3 kind of deployment, and Web3 identity became just as powerful as email. So let's say, guys, look at ENS. ENS, you can create subdomain for your main, like your main ENS account. Like for example, if ethsign.eth, you can create tech.esign.eth. You can create, for example, my name is Potter, potter.tech. I'm not in the tech scene, but I'll just use it as example. Potter.tech.esign.eth. This will be my Web3 identity, just like PL my email in my Web2 identity, right? I will use this identity to sign contract, to do all the operation work. I believe probably it will be 3 to 5 years when there's more Web3 adoption. People starting to use their wallets to do most of the things. So right now there's already a lot of Web3 Web3 kind of task management, or platform like the point is, in 3 to 5 years, we do expect, if Web3 do explode, it do have massive adoption, then Web3 identity will just be as important as Web2 identity, just like your email, if that makes sense. In that case, for eSign to have, basically, because we use private key, private public key as our DID or way to log in, we will be the first group of product or companies or whatever to adopt the this Web3 identity thing. And it will, when at that time nobody will ask why is it legally binding because just like right now nobody asks why is DocuSign legally binding, if that makes sense.
Chase, did I answer the thing you're asking?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Potter, for diving into that.
Potter, can you hear me this time around?
Very
All right,
clearly,
cool.
very clearly.
Perfect. I was wondering. I was like,
Yo, first of all, any feedback on what I just said? Did it pump you guys, about the whole Web3 massive adoption stuff?
oh yeah, I can't wait for this to go up. Not even from a price perspective, but just from the tech perspective.
Exactly.
And yeah, no, it's really. I think exciting is the best word. Exciting to be here and meet a ton of cool people. And like I was saying earlier, it was great to meet you at the dinner as well. Coming on. And my next question is about the automatic contract execution.
Yeah.
Could you explain or speak on what it's been like to work with Chainlink and its utilization of Chainlink keepers?
Yeah. So basically, with Chainlink, we use Chainlink to, as I said, monitor the on-chain and off-chain API. So basically, in order to have a automated contract, you need to have a really good oracle to bring the consensus on chain, right? So how we bring consensus on chain, how to make it automated, is with Chainlink, powerful oracle in keepers network to give us most accurate data either on chain or off chain, if that makes sense. So by integrating their solution, we're able to automate the contract based on the feedback or the either the price or the whatever data that Chainlinks reads and give back to us. So we do really appreciate and do value Chainlink as a great ecosystem partner of eSigns. In fact, we do host regular Chainlink meetups within eSigns in LA area, like once in a month, like probably once every 2 months. You guys can see it on on Chainlink official channel, I think, or not, I don't know, but definitely on eSign. And you also feel free to check out those events. It's being hosted. I think we already host like 5 to 6 Chainlink events in LA area. We'll probably host more in like more East Coast regions, so stay tuned.
Let's go. The meetups are dope, bro.
Yeah, sometimes we host it with Harmony. Sometimes we host this with other like consensus, like friends with benefits, all the interesting people. So yeah, we are very excited to to also to leverage blockchain and USC to build more kind of regional ecosystem or community in LA area. So if you guys are interested or to participate in events like this, check out blockchain and USC. It's also in my profile kind of bio. I'm a proud dad of eSign, blockchain, and USC. Obviously.
Hey, Potter, I just want to do a time check real quick. How are we looking on time?
Give me 1 sec. I think we can go over a bit. Like we can go over 10, 20 more minutes, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course. No, of course. I was just making sure we weren't taking up too much.
Actually, probably 5 more minutes because I have one more thing I need to go to. Pretty urgent.
Okay. Yeah, no worries. Mita, you want to ask your question and then we can head off.
Yeah, absolutely. I was Potter, I was just curious about like your long-term vision for like the project and where you see it going. Like, where do you think eSign will be in like the next 2 years or so?
Yeah. So really appreciate your question, but I think, as I said, eSign, we are not satisfied, or we are actually not. It's not because satisfied. It's just our vision. We are not just constrained by being the Web3 version of DocuSign, but really, if you want to ask me a good one kind of accurate kind of description on token table, it would be the Web3 Goldman Sachs, if that makes sense. And for our smart agreement, it would be the basically revolutionize the whole contract signing and help people to collaborate in a decentralized fashion and in a trustless fashion. Bring the trust to the trustless platform. So basically, that's the two biggest direction. For token table, we are aiming to make it into Web3 Goldman Sachs. And for our smart agreement, we don't know the limit is, but we want to make it into the Web3 kind of execution protocol, or you can say how people collaborate with each other, paperless, of course. Code is law.
That's awesome. Potter, we just wanted to say thank you for coming out and taking time out of your day to talk to us. Is there anything you want to leave us with, closing remarks, and then also for the people listening on Spotify and YouTube, where can they find you, and then where can they find eSign?
Awesome. So thank you, and one more time, really thank all of you for coming, and especially for Base to organize this awesome talk or whatever for allowing me to share my experience and what I think about this industry. And I do want to say that please follow our official Twitter, ethsign, and we have our Discord link to our Twitter, and our website is ethsign.xyz. You will be able to see other channels we have. We have YouTube, Medium, Discord, Twitter, blah blah blah. You will be able to find it on the website. And the username is POTTERLEE222. So PotterLee222, and my handle is, or my username is Potter.eth, because you know what? I own Potter.eth. Yeah, that's why.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Well, Potter, we appreciate you coming on, brother. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah, and
everything about eSign. Super cool
everyone.
project.
Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate y'all. And one last thing to mention is, I do recommend, the Gen Z, and if either if you're Gen Z or not, but Gen Z is better because Gen Z, they're new to this. I think they are more passionate about this stuff, whatever, for whatever reasons, right? So anyone who's interested in Web3, please, take the leap. You'll find it very interesting, and it will be very disruptive to the traditional industry. If you want to change the world, change the, build the next internet with me and as well as others, please, DM me or whatever. Let's see how we can collaborate, and shoot me your awesome ideas, and we will help you to learn more stuff. Actually, the reason I mentioned this is because ethsign, we launched a nonprofit organization called Web3 Collective. You guys can check it on Twitter. Web3 Collective. Web3 Collective is a nonprofit organization focused on education, adoption, and deployment. The first batch of members, we have Gitcoin, Polygon, Biconomy, etc. You guys can see the list. And in the next batch, we're talking to Arweave, the Graph, Chainlink, and other big ecosystem and tech stack that we partner with. And our vision is to collaborate with different colleges and education resources organizations to really make good content of Web3 education stuff. And as I said, our CTO is teaching in USC about how to build a DBAP. He will personally, just adopt a lot of the curriculum or workshops that we make out of this collective, and to start to spread it out and to build more curriculum on Web3 and spread it into the university level, if that makes sense. And we're also going to build a lot of hackathons with a lot of people. Last year, we organized a hackathon with MoDAO, aka the sub-DAO of BitDAO. They're powered by BitDAO and Bybit. And we host a hackathon with more than 1,000 of participants, and more than hundreds of project submission. And I think we're going to just do events like this, or panels, or whatever, and and education content, curriculum. We also partner with Use Web3, blah blah blah, to really make this education hub for whoever want to get into Web3 or to learn more about Web3. So of course, we're going to do a lot of AMAs and on live channels. We'd love to co-host one with Base, and if you guys are interested, we already host several events in USC, Harvard. We're going to host one in Harvard soon, and we're going to host a lot more in UCSD, UC Irvine, a lot of West Coast schools, as well as a lot of East Coast schools. So yeah, stay tuned and make sure to follow that as well for more updates. Thank you, guys.
Of course. Thank you again,
Right
Potter.
on, brother. Thanks for coming on, man. Everyone stay based. Have a good night.
Yes, sir. Have a good one. Fight the fuck on.
Peace.
Based space.